Yeah, my name is Junzhou Huang. So I'm full professor in the computer science and the engineering department at the University of Texas Arlington. So my research is kind of related to how to develop machine learning algorithm for the graph data. So I joined UTA in 2011. So exactly 12 years. I'm very honored to be elected to a fellow in the AIMBE. Actually, it's the American Institute of Medical and Biological Engineering. This usually is by vote by the other fellow. I think it's normally this fellow is like a top 2% of all this in the community. I think I think this is great for myself and for my team. I think basically is significant regulation. I think for my research or for my lab. Also, I think it's kind of regulation or promote for UTA. Meant that because UTA this year we have 3 professors have been elected to fellow of AIMBE. It's the first time. So actually, my research area include machine learning, computer vision, medical image analysis, and bioinformatics. Generally speaking, my research focus is to develop novel machine learning algorithm for graph data. It, of course, involve a lot of application. For example, we develop new machine learning algorithm for we call the image omic data analysis. Just think that for cancer patient, we collect pathology image and genetic data from this patient. So with that, we call the pathology image and omic data together. So we can develop machine learning model to predict the survival of this cancer patient. For example, we will know the group patient. So this subgroup patient maybe has better survival compared with another subgroup patient. With this prediction from machine learning model, the medical doctor could be design different treatment plan for different subgroup patients. Overall, we improve the survival rate for the cancer patient. This is one application. Another application is to try to use a deep learning algorithm to, do we call the computational drug discovery. So based on there, of course, we also can develop machine learning algorithm to design a small molecule drug for antibody drug. And also we can design better, we call it T-cell therapy, design. So all this is just we can consider drug, for example, small molecule. We can think small molecule will be an atom graph. The atom can be represent the load in the graph, and the chemical bond in this drug molecule can be represented as the edge in this graph. So based on that, we transfer our chemistry or biology problem to our machine learning problem. That means that we can design deep learning algorithm for the graph data. The only difference in this graph, we call the atom graph or molecular graph. Then we can predict, for example, given a drug, we can know, this drug is toxic to human or not. Because usually we know that develop drug takes just like 10 years, over 10 years, and $1 billion cost for one drug. So that's huge cost and also take long time. But most of drug fail. Normally that's the 3 phase. Just like clinical phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So normally half of drug candidate fail in the phase 1. Phase 1 is just like, this drug is very good, but it's toxic to human. For example, toxic to human liver. So we call it DILI, injury to the liver. But before machine learning algorithm, we only can test this design drug with the human patient, cancer patient or disease patient. So in this case, it is hard for us to improve the whole process. But now with machine learning, we don't really need test many patients. We just predict, if this drug, based on machine learning prediction, we know this toxic to human liver, we don't let this drug into the clinical study. So I think it has a huge, economic impact and also social impact. For my PhD study, so I developed a machine learning algorithm for the graph data, but that's purely methodology developed. But when I joined the UTA, so in 2011, so in this case, we quickly found that Texas has a very good resource for the medical study. For example, half hour drive distance from UTA is UT Southwestern, the top 10 medical school in the whole United States, and also UT MD Cancer Center is the number one cancer center in the whole United States. So at that time, I think, how can we associate machine learning, my research, with this medical application? Its challenging part is, of course, because you need to find a collaborator. So like MD in the medical school, now we can work together. Because we need to act, domain knowledge from there. Initially, find collaborator is not an easy way because doctor time is very limited and expensive. So in order to efficiently communicate with doctor, I go to UT Southwestern to apply medical school. When I do assistant professor here at the same time, they invited me to teach machine learning or data analysis course at UT Southwestern. So I asked them, can I apply MD? So finally, they have a program exactly provide to the postdoc or the other, junior scientists in at the UT Southwestern to train and get a PhD or MD from clinical sites. So they didn't suppose, some faculty from UT Arlington to apply for that. But I go there, reach the program director, hey, can I apply for that? He said, okay, yeah, you have to take GRE again, and you have to pay the tuition. We know that medical school tuition is expensive. But the good thing is when I talk on the administration here, so actually I'm department chair and also VP from the university and call it the dean. So they support me use my staff funding, to pay the tuition. So I go there for 2 years. It's a training program to take course there, and also my classmate at that time is just like medical student, PhD or MD student, from different department, from different area. Good experience. Actually, it's a very good experience for me because I know this 2-year experience invited me to teach me how to communicate with medical background scientists very efficiently. My purpose is not really get a MD because if you want to do MD, you have to do resident. You have to do so. Yeah, that's 2 years just made me learn this basic course because my background is computer science. My bachelor degree, master degree, PhD degree, all this is computer science. I never have this kind of background for medical part. So that's course learning very important for me, to learn this basic knowledge from biology and medical science. So which will make me, that's why right now I can communicate with a medical doctor. Otherwise, it's very challenging for computer scientists to communicate with a medical doctor. It's horrible if without common language, medical doctor will don't know what computer science they can do. And also without common language, I think as a computer scientist, we also don't know what's the real problem. It's really, really significant or very important in the medical field. Common language is very important to make efficient communication possible.